Hey, everybody. Welcome back. So today we're going into a really transformational shift from a being level and a little micro habit that can massively transform your mind, body, or business or relationships over a year. And this one little mini habit has been pretty much, I'd say, especially when I was doing mostly health coaching, it was a lot of my clients' favorite mini habit. It was their favorite new way of being in order to actually get more of what they wanted. And most importantly, keep it. So if you are ready, willing, committed, and invested to transform your mind, your body, your business, or your relationships, any of the above, this habit today is going to be absolutely game changer for you. And when you start to implement this new way of being, you'll be surprised at how quickly this can deliver results for you. So, this is the Entrepreneur Expansion Show, the first ever gamified show that helps entrepreneurs master their subconscious mind, body, and or business by implementing micro habits into their lives through fun, supportive, action-oriented ways to create more transformational impact and income, folks. And I am your host, Matt Travis, the founder of The Potential You. And if you want to gamify your mind, body, and or business growth, join our free Unstoppable CEO Mastermind community and join other amazing entrepreneurs on the personal and professional growth journey and win sessions, gifts, prizes to up-level your life. So let's dive right in today and get into this transformational mini habit facts. Facts, this is one of my favorite ones. Okay. It's one of my favorite ones. And so many times we try to make, humans love to make things difficult. And this is a very simple mini habit. However, a lot of people write it off because it is pretty simple to do. So let's go. When you start to do something new, okay, I want you to think a lot of times people, it's the new year. They're trying to improve their health, their business, their relationships, whatever it may be. They, a lot of times, will start trying to do a lot. They'll try to do it all, right? Trying to make it perfect. And we talked about that in past episodes of imperfect action beats perfect inaction every time, right? And so when we are doing this new habit, we need to understand that the going big or going home mentality, the doing it all or doing nothing mentality, is probably the number one way that people fail because they're stuck in the all or nothing mindset. They're stuck in the mindset that if I don't do it perfectly, if I don't do all of it, and I don't do it exactly right, then it's not going to work. It's not going to deliver the results. This is the stories that our mind is telling us. And none of this is true. And it actually hinders the growth of your business, of your health, of your transformational journey, because I use this little example a lot of the times with my clients. Imagine we're making a snowball and we're making this giant snowball and it gets really big and we're doing a lot and we're crushing our goals and we start to roll this snowball down the hill. What a lot of people do is they run as fast as they can ahead of the snowball and they stand right in front of it and the snowball hits them and it breaks in half because they're stopping their growth. They're stopping their growth. And so they have to restart back at square one because they have what's called pause button mentality. They're stuck in the all or nothing, the all or nothing. It's either I do it perfectly and I go big or I do nothing at all. And this is so detrimental to the snowball rolling down the hill and actually you getting the results that you want. So what do we do differently? What do we change? Well, we go into a new mindset, a new mind frame, a new way of being. And this new way of being is the always something mentality. So instead of all or nothing, we go into always something. This little shift can have such a powerful impact on every aspect of your life. And first, before I go deeper into what this is all about, I want you to understand what this isn't about. This isn't about doing more. This is more about being more, and doing what's right for you. So, always something versus all or nothing. It might be always something, might be more rest. Okay. Instead of trying to get your rest perfect, it might just be little mini rests. So it's not about adding more on your plate, which a lot of people are like, well, I already have so much on my plate. That's not what we're talking about. So let's break this down a little bit more so you understand, how do we actually do this? Well, think of, let's, and I'll use different examples for you. So think about, first off, the, let's start with business. So a lot of people, when they start a business, they know they need to connect with more people. So when you're connecting with more people, a lot of times they think, I need to connect with 100 people a day, and I need to, build this. I need to start my YouTube channel. I need to start this podcast. I need to create this insanely difficult offer. I need to build out all my systems. I have to have my email nurture sequence. So they're thinking, I need to do all of this in order to be successful. That is not true. It's really about connecting with people, serving them, and then ascending them in an authentic and aligned way through your process to get them to the place where they realize that your solution is exactly what is right for them. And this is especially with service-based businesses. So what happens is that we try to do all of the things, and then if we don't do it perfectly or right, we're just like, you know what, none of it's working, and then we throw in the towel. So what if we just did always something, just a little bit, right? Connect with at least one person a day. Maybe you make one post. Maybe you make one episode in your show. Maybe you add one new connection into your world that connects you to other people. So just doing a little bit each and every day, and it's almost like something that you do throughout your day. It's a new way of being. It's a new way of thinking, where instead of trying to overachieve, and we call it the hyperachiever saboteur. So instead of doing that, we're going into a different way, which is just doing a little bit, just a little bit. And it's the getting started part of it that really helps people. So, because that's the most difficult part. And I'm going to talk about that even deeper in other episodes. So, when you go to start to do this, let's say from a health perspective, most people, and this happens to so many of my clients when I was heavily in this world, they were like, if the diet's not perfect, if I don't exercise perfectly, if I don't sleep perfectly, then you just abandon everything. How many of you out there started a diet, and once you had a little bit of wine or some pizza, you were like, screw it, and you gave up for the rest of the weekend, and then your mindset was like, Monday, I'll attack this again on Monday. And that's a way to shoot yourself in the foot. Instead, when you start to go into old subconscious programmed habits, which is exactly what happens when we're trying to build anything new, right? So if we're talking about health shifts and health transformations, we have something that we're so used to in our mind. And so we are trying to get to the other side of that. And our subconscious is trying to keep you in the safe, familiar, predictable, and certain. So when you try to make these changes, it's like, hey, no, we do eat pizza and we drink wine and we have, you know, dessert, and we do all of these things. This is what we've been doing for years. So why are you trying to change that? It thinks that is what you do, and that's what's been keeping you alive and safe the whole time. And so when we shift these patterns to something completely different, it's like, this is not familiar. It's not certain. I don't know if this is going to help me. So what our job is to, number one, let our mind know that it is safe. right? Let it know that it is exactly what we're trying to do. This is going to help us. So we're tying the positive, we're tying the positive to this new way of being, and the pain and negative to the old way of being and the old things that you do. And so when we are doing these little things, it makes it so much more impactful. That's why I created this show, so that we could do little mini habits so it doesn't seem so daunting to the subconscious mind. That's the whole purpose of this whole thing. So we start with always something, always something. So if you, let's say you go out to dinner and you have wine and uh, you have pizza, maybe throw a salad in there. Maybe before that, you get a little bit of, protein, so that you're more satiated and you're more full. And maybe you go on a little bit of an extra walk that day. So it's just these little things that you can add in. A lot of people are like, oh, I need to go and exercise for an hour. Well, some days you're not going to do that, especially if you're like me and you have kids and you have a business and you have, a bunch of responsibilities. Some days you're not going to get to the gym, but it doesn't mean you abandon it, and you just are like, you know what, I'm not going to do anything for the next week. And then that turns into the next month, which turns into the next year. It's not helpful. So I just focus on, I'm going to at least get some steps in today. I'm going to stand up and sit down from my chair and do some air squats. Adding in always something has been impactful in allowing me to not try to over perfect my life, because it gets so scheduled and regimented, and that isn't the way that my brain works. And I've learned to start to schedule and regiment things in, but the variety is one of our emotional human needs that I will also get in deeper to that in other podcast episodes. So we are always trying to add in something from a health standpoint. So I talked about nutrition, exercise, business. Let's talk about sleep. So a lot of times people are like, they're watching, let's say, Netflix at night, and they go into they're binging a show, and they go from one show to the next show to the next show. So instead of just saying, oh, I can't watch any, or I, or it won't work out, or they're like, I'm going to just watch it all, the all or nothing. So instead, let's say to ourselves, I'm going to do something. I'm going to watch one episode, and then I set my timer on my phone so that I go to bed at this time, rather than binging and going through that. Because a lot of times when especially the shows are really good at keeping open loops. So it makes you want to watch the next episode. So we can, and of course, it's giving us dopamine boosts as well. So we can do little things to ensure that we are reminding ourselves that we were just doing something, not all or nothing. We were doing something, and then we move into going to bed at the right appropriate time to make sure our health is right. Um, you know, let's think about this from a relationship standpoint. So it's like, oh, if I don't create the ultimate perfect date for a romantic night with my partner or spouse, then it's not going to be super impactful. Well, that's not necessarily true. What if you just took a little sticky note and you wrote something that you loved about the person and you left it on their desk? Very easy, simple to do, but also really impactful. So maybe you don't go out on that date, but you are making sure you're feeding their words of affirmation and you're making them feel loved. So it's not all or nothing, y'all. It's always something. And so so let's talk about how do we do this, Matt? How do we integrate this into our life? Well, if you decide that this is a mini habit that you want to take on, and you want to take on this challenge, you can, of course, join the group, and you write committed in the comments of this particular mini habit, and then you decide what's the always something that you're going to do based on the goal that you're trying to achieve? So let's say it's a business goal. Your always something could be, I at least connect with one person today. And I do that 5 days a week. So you pick the duration and the amount of time that's going to feel good for you and going to make it so that your subconscious will allow you to make this change. So you might be like, well, I don't know what that would be. Ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no way in hell, 10 being let's go, no problem. How confident do you feel to connect with at least one person 3 days a week? And if it's an 8 or more, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. And so we want it to be an 8 or more from a confidence standpoint, from a subconscious confidence standpoint, that you're going to be able to do this thing. So you decide how many days, how many people you're going to connect with, what it looks like for you, what feels doable to your subconscious, and then you can build on that. So we're thinking of this as our lowest standard, and that makes such an impact on your not only your ability to succeed, but your ability to keep it over the long term, which is really what I hope to be able to impart for all of you, is that getting results is one thing, keeping them is a whole different ballgame. This one little micro mini habit, this new way of being, will allow you to keep your results so much more because you're going to be raising your lowest standards, which once again, I will be bringing more information of why that's so important in later episodes. So, always something versus all or nothing. You comment, I'm committed. Step 2, you decide what you're committed to do, what the always something is. And it might change each and every day, but it's always something. And then you comment what the always something was, whatever it is. And then you will get points and you will get accountability from me to keep you moving along this journey so you actually finally get the results that you want. So, if this sounds good, folks, I'm excited to help you along this journey. I'm excited to help you implement the always something mini habit into your life so that you feel much more in control of your reality, because this whole show is helping you create your desired reality through little mini subconscious shifts that allow you to get what you want. So if that sounds good, folks, I'm excited to see you in there. I'm excited to see you take the challenge on. And I'm excited to support you throughout this entire journey. If you have any questions, definitely ask them in the comments below, and I'll be glad to answer them. And like always, folks, remember, keep showing up, taking action, and you will get results. Have a great day.